Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping two divisions.
The way that Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather has weighed in on the potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, making it clear why he doesn't see Crawford pulling off the upset. According to Mayweather, the weight gap is simply too significant to ignore. He explained that jumping multiple divisions isn't just a test of skill but also of strength, durability, and stamina against naturally larger fighters. While Canelo has spent years competing against bigger opponents at the highest level, Crawford would be venturing into uncharted territory. In Mayweather's view, that physical difference will ultimately prove too much for Crawford to overcome, no matter how sharp his technique may be.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Robert Garcia believes Terence Crawford is stepping into the toughest test of his career by entering the super middleweight ranks. He acknowledges Crawford's brilliance across several divisions but warns that moving into Canelo Alvarez's natural weight class is a far greater risk than his past jumps. Garcia points out that while Canelo has long refined his skills against naturally bigger fighters, Crawford has yet to show he can carry his trademark sharpness, speed, and stamina at this size. According to Garcia, Crawford's body hasn't fully adjusted to the added weight, making him look less explosive and less fluid. Against a battle-tested champion like Canelo, who dominates in this division, that difference could prove decisive.
Two divisions where he only had one fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford. But I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford will pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Good stuff. Look, Robert, I appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very much.
The analyst underscores the enormous stakes surrounding the Crawford versus Canelo showdown. He explains that if Crawford can overcome Canelo's size, strength, and experience, his legacy would skyrocket, elevating him into the same conversation as Floyd Mayweather among boxing's all-time greats. A victory over a fighter of Canelo's caliber would solidify Crawford as the premier pound-for-pound star of his generation and silence any lingering questions about his resume. At the same time, the analyst makes clear that such a triumph wouldn't eclipse Mayweather's legacy, as Floyd's undefeated record and dominance across multiple eras remain unmatched. Still, the opportunity for Crawford to rise into such rarefied territory makes this fight one of the most defining moments in modern boxing history.
This is insane. It's insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao with him. So I know somebody's about to get moist, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott and Barbados Joe, not Jersey. I'm Barbados. Like that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback to. I would have to assess 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight drained. Has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
Jeff Mayweather pushed back firmly against Canelo Alvarez's claim that Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. He sees the statement as less about reality and more about Canelo attempting to elevate himself through comparison. Since Canelo was beaten decisively by Floyd, Jeff suggests that calling Crawford superior provides Canelo with an indirect way of softening that loss. While Jeff acknowledges Crawford's exceptional talent, he stresses that Crawford has yet to reach Floyd's level of dominance or match his accomplishments in the sport. In Jeff's view, Floyd's undefeated record and his mastery over elite opponents throughout his career speak volumes, and no fair comparison can be made until Crawford proves much more.
Possibly remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had it as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored Floyd, of course. And that was Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience. He still took him, into deep waters. So
yeah. What was Canelo? 20-something? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career. And Canelo fought a lot.
But are you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime when you're 36. You got your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, for sure. And that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying. Make himself look like he did something great.
Joel Diaz flatly dismisses Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez, pointing to the massive size gap as the decisive factor. He reminds fans that Canelo has already gone toe-to-toe with some of boxing's hardest punchers, including Gennady Golovkin, and absorbed their best shots. Diaz questions how Crawford, who has only faced opponents closer to his natural weight, could possibly deliver damage that would trouble Canelo. While acknowledging Crawford's skill, Diaz insists that talent alone cannot overcome such a physical disparity. He stresses that fighters often don't realize the true cost of moving up until they feel the power of naturally bigger men, and in this case, Canelo's durability and strength represent a challenge Crawford simply cannot overcome.
Ask them who Skull is, they won't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion.
He's a champion.
He's got the kind of the other stones that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, Canelo wins. He's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68. He can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade?
Yes.
Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fought 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, he takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey on the cheek is a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
The debate over ring size adds an intriguing wrinkle to the Canelo versus Crawford matchup, but most experts agree it won't dramatically change the outcome. Crawford supporters argue that a larger ring, closer to 22 feet, would give him the space to maximize his footwork, angles, and movement to stay a step ahead of Canelo's relentless pressure. Still, analysts point out that Canelo has competed in rings of all sizes and consistently adapted, whether against movers or heavy hitters. While a bigger ring might offer Crawford a slight edge in mobility, it cannot erase the fundamental gap in size and power. In the end, the fight will come down to execution, not dimensions.
The biggest things in this Canelo Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. These guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring. You're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic. He has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset. No matter the rings, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant. He's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt. It's the same thing with 22. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but still gonna hurt. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, do, slip, bob, weave, do whatever you want. It's gonna give Canelo some weight. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey say it was gonna be an 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's going to be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bets.
Crawford's emphatic victory over Errol Spence has given many fans confidence that he can handle Canelo Alvarez. That performance underlined his elite timing, adaptability, and ruthless finishing instincts, cementing his dominance at welterweight. Yet, analysts urge caution. They note that while Spence is highly skilled, he isn't a naturally bigger man like Canelo. They point to fighters such as Israel Madrimov as examples of the type of larger, physically imposing opponents Crawford has yet to face. By contrast, Canelo has spent years testing himself against men even bigger than him and still thriving at the elite level. The concern is that Crawford's brilliance at welterweight may not carry over when dealing with the sheer physicality and power of a true super middleweight like Canelo.
Hey y'all, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all act like he just beat fucking Jesus or Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. Y'all say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has went up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. So you think he's gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know Canelo. The only people who saying Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casual. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. Cause I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas need to see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just think that and y'all running with it. Cut it out.
Gabriel.